Okay. Good morning, everyone. We'll call the Development Committee meeting of September 19th to order. Roll call, please.
Member Krajewski. Member Chaplin here. Member Guston here. Member Ozog. Member Rutledge here. Chair Tornatori
here. And we have a quorum. Chairman's remarks. I'm pleased to announce that sometime back, the Illinois Housing Development Authority had additional funding available. If you all recall, some years past, we received $250,000 from them, which essentially got our clean and lean program, our neighborhood revitalization program started. There was additional funding. Paul and the staff got on it right away as soon as we found out, and we got another $299,000.
Nice.
So that's going to go to help the clean and lean program. May help us with land banking if we decide to go that route on the affordable housing issue. So it's money that we were able to get. Paul, do you want to add anything about to that? Okay, but thanks for you and your staff's diligence in getting that money that's out there and grabbing everything we can. We're moving on to public comment. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes, 3 minutes per person. Anything we hear is not considered new testimony, but we're certainly happy to hear from any resident who's interested in being here. The first person is Ron Nemec, who's going to be talking on zoning matter 2355, item 6G, I believe it is, on your agenda. So, Mr. Nemec, you can just stand up and right there. Or,
well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I filed for a variance, got denied. So the reason I'm coming to appeal to you guys is I have two issues. I built a patio in my backyard, one for drainage, to keep drainage away from my house. Because in our area, I don't know if you're familiar with it, I'm 5 houses from the corner. 2 of the lots are retention ponds, and when it rains, my house, all the houses end up getting flooded. The basements have been flooded about 5 times. My basement's been flooded a couple times. So my goal is I put drainage under all this tile. I put drainage on the side of my house. I got drainage on this side of the house. There's sewers. Everything goes to the back of these homes. And my purpose is just to keep the water away from my house so I can stop filing insurance claims. I got denied because he said I could have left that 3 feet and ran the water up the hill, down the hill to the back, which to me just didn't seem obvious. I got everything on angles, going to the middle of my lot, to the back of my lot, and then the whole block drains to this retention pond. So, I mean, I personally thought that's the best way to go about it, you know, and he denied me. So I'm just here to state my case. I just don't want to flood anymore. My insurance been canceled once already because of claims. The house next to me gets about 4 feet of water. The first house gets a full basement of water they've had. I've had standpipes. I put things in my toilet. I put things in my sink to keep water coming from my. The main goal of the patio to me was to keep all the water away from my house. So that's about all I can say.
Thank you. Next person is Mel. I can't.
Monica.
That's her. Morning.
I just hear the complaint about an Airbnb that's still functioning as a short-term rental next to me. The address is 5530 Virginia Avenue. There was a rather large party this weekend. This is some of the garbage that was left. If anyone of committee members wants to take a look at this, I'd be happy to pass it around. It's left there from Saturday morning till 7 a.m. Monday, and it's still out there now. I just would like some information on when is this going to end. It's still continuing as far as I know. And another thing, is there any kind of ordinance that prevents somebody that rents it for more than 30 days to sublet a room in that house? Because originally when this thing was posted on Airbnb, it listed the 3 rooms as suites, and it sleeps 12 people in it, in a 3-bedroom, essentially a 3-bedroom, 1-family residential home.
What city, sir?
I live in, it's unincorporated. DuPage County, we're in the little section, 5536 Virginia.
What's the municipality though? Or
Uh,
you-
that's
the municipality.
Okay.
Is there a
well,
township?
I
That
live
is
in
no township.
unincorporated West Chicago, so that's what I'm asking you. Thank you.
I just.
Thank you, sir. What we'll do is, maybe after the meeting or at some point, we'll have you, talk to one of our staff members and they can answer a specific question that you have. Okay, that concludes public comment. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. of
So moved.
September 5th.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, saying none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. When we got into regulatory, I'll entertain a motion to approve 23-3062
Second.
ZSE 23-8 Montini, approving the Montini October Fest Fall fundraiser at Montini Catholic High School on October 21st. Motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 45-23 zoning 2345 Fagan. This is the HO's recommendation to approve a variation to allow a 6-foot, 100% closed privacy fence within 30 feet front yard setback.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 46-23 zoning 2348 and GECO. ZHO's recommendation to approve a variation to reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to approximately 10 feet for an addition. There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? None. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve DCO 47-23 zoning 2350 Jiraga and ZHO's recommendation to approve a variation to increase the height of a fence to the interior side
So moved.
yard from permitted 6'6" to approximately 9.1 is existing. There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion for DCO 48-23 zoning 2352 McHale as the HO's recommendation to approve a variation to reduce the interior side setback from 3 feet to approximately 2 feet
So
for an
moved.
existing detached garage addition to mansion existing detached garage. There's a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve ECO 49-23 zoning 2353. NEMR, this is the HO's recommendation to deny a variation to reduce the interior side setback for a paver patio from the required 3 feet to approximately 0 feet as existing. The motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second to approve. Paul, you want to fill us in a little bit about this?
So the zoning hearing officer indicated that the petitioner did not present a hardship or practical difficulty that would support the variation request. There was also concern about drainage in the area. There was concern from an adjacent neighbor who had an engineer that presented information about how the paver patio actually does create drainage on off-site properties, and that the easement that the paver patio is located in is an easement while it's on the subject property, actually inures to adjacent properties to attenuate water from the subject property onto other properties as well. The hearing officer found that because this is a paver brick patio, there is the opportunity to remove the bricks. It's not really, while it is permanent in some respects, it's fairly easy to remove some of the bricks to get it out of the 3-foot easement. But there's a real concern about the fact that where this is located will create problems for off-site properties. We know that the petitioner indicated that he was doing this to preserve drainage patterns on his property, but there's a way to do that without a paver patio. The petitioner's indicated that he has put drain tiles underneath the paver patio to attenuate water away from his property. So the paver patio doesn't really provide any drainage for the subject property. It just is that he is able to pave over the drain tile on his property, but that does create drainage issues off-site. So that's why the zoning hearing officer denied the petition.
Question, Member Guston.
Thank you, Member Chair. Is he in a floodplain? And then the other is, who owns he described kind of a retention pond or a retention area for the water runoff? Who owns that land?
So they're retaining ponds in the area. They're part of a common area that's owned by, I believe, the homeowners association in the area on adjacent properties, but there really aren't any retention ponds for this particular subdivision.
So does that property, is it part of the subdivision that has the retention ponds?
No.
So it's outside of that purview.
Yes, member Rutledge.
Is the paper patio, are those permeable pavers or just regular pavers?
Regular pavers, they're not permeable pavers that are part of the drainage system.
Can I
Yes.
comment?
No, you can't, I'm sorry, sir. No, this is not, you had your hearing, sir, this is a different, those are our rules.
Like the
Those are our rules,
comment
sir,
The
we
sewers are
don't
on our property.
engage, sir, we do not engage, there is
Right,
no
I'm
new
sorry.
testimony taken. This will also go to county board at the end of, the vote next week. Member, Jeff,
Yeah, so my question too is about the easement there, Paul. So the patio encroaches on the easement, is that,
It encroaches in the setback, which is also part, the easement is within the setback. So there, a lot of times people confuse setbacks with easements. Oftentimes, if there is a public utility and or drainage easement on the property, it is actually concurrent with the setback. In some instances, the easements are larger than the setbacks, but this is actually in the required setback. That also happens to have a public utility and drainage easement in this as well.
and then I know that neighbor did send in concerns about water coming over to their property. I'm just trying to look up the packet. And I know that I think there was something in the packet about if you took out some of the pavers, I mean, is that an option to take out some of the pavers with that? And you still could have your patio, right? But it would just be a little smaller, is that?
I think the point there is that oftentimes we see that someone comes forward with sort of a more permanent structure like concrete or asphalt
Right.
that has been there for many, many years. It makes it very difficult to remove. In this particular case, which could lead to the fact that there's a hardship or practical difficulty in physically removing the structure. In this case, it is pavers. So removing the pavers is a lot easier than removing concrete or asphalt. And that's the point that the hearing officer was talking about there.
So if they remove a few feet of the pavers, that would solve.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you,
It's just a little easier to remove pavers than concrete or asphalt. That's the point.
thank you.
yes.
So if this were concrete, we probably would approve the variance, but because it's pavers, the zoning board of appeals denied.
The petitioner put it in without a permit. He showed no hardship or practical difficulty. Sort of anecdotal to the hardship and practical difficulty argument, the hearing officer indicated that because they are pavers, they are easier to remove. If it were concrete or asphalt, that would be something that the hearing officer in this board would have to take under consideration, but that's not the case here. That could lead to hardship and practical difficulty, which could change some of the things that we'd be considering. We don't have that here.
Anyone else? Okay, so we have a denial from the zoning hearing officer. We have a motion to approve. And yes vote or an aye vote would be overturning the DHO's recommendation. Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin?
No,
Member Rutledge?
No.
Member Guston?
Aye.
Chair Tornatori?
And the motion fails. This matter will be taken up to the county board. The recommendation from the development committee will be on the county board packet next week. Moving on to DCO 50-23, zoning 2355 Matthews. The zoning hearing officer recommended the bifurcation of the following zoning relief. The zoning hearing officer recommended to approve a variation to allow a 6-foot 100% closed privacy fence within the 10-foot corner side yard setback, and a variation to allow a 6-foot 100% closed privacy fence within the 30-yard front yard setback. So let's take those two. There's a zoning hearing officer recommendation to approve those. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
second?
Motion second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The second matter is the zoning hearing officer's recommendation to deny the variation to increase the height of the fence or of a fence within the required 20-foot foot line of sight vision clearance on a corner from 3 feet to approximately 6 feet. Is there a motion to approve that? The
Second.
motion to approve and a second. Paul, can you enlighten us on this one?
So the Township Road Commissioner, which has jurisdiction over Purnell Road at this point, it did not object to the variation in height for the majority of the fences, but did have an objection to the line of sight easement where this property meets the intersection of two streets for the reason that we have the line of sight easement requirement in place, and that is to allow cars to be able to edge out onto Purnell Road to see traffic moving on Purnell Road. Purnell Road undulates up and down, and it is, while it's a residential design roadway, it really serves as a collector street between Indian Knoll Road to the sort of northwest and Winfield Road to the southeast. So there's a concern that to get out onto Purnell Road at this intersection would be, it's just difficult to begin with. It would be further limited by having a fence in this line of sight triangle. So that's the reason for the hearing officer's objection.
Any questions? All or comments on the motion? Okay, we have a denial from the CHO, a motion to approve. Again, yes vote would overturn the CHO's recommendation. Roll call, please.
Member Guston?
No.
Member Chaplin?
No.
Member Rutledge?
No.
Chair Tornatori?
No, and the motion fails. And old business, do we have any old business? Sir? Do we have any new business? Seeing none, without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you all.